Topher right here on Geek Public Radio, geekpublicradio.com. I'm here with my usual cohort, Crazy Chris.
Wait, that's me.
I really just messed up that whole intro, didn't I?
It's fine. Until you said something, people wouldn't have known any better. So it's fine.
Right?
I mean, all like
well, no, it's like
6,000
I started
of our people, so it's fine. It's fine.
I started talking. I was like, yeah, like that's not like it feels off. Like
this feels so weird.
It's like putting on pants that you've never put on before. It's
actually seriously, that's a whole thing.
Yeah,
we should do an entire episode about like the difference of pants. Anyway, what's great is that the people that routinely revisit our webpage and revisit our videos and revisit our audio, they're not used to anything that we do because we always change it.
Right?
It's always different. And like we're very fond of saying, it's not a Geek Public Radio, or it's not a GPR episode unless something has gone terribly wrong.
Speaking of going terribly wrong,
here we go. Speaking of people rolling off of a cliff.
Segway. Google Genie.
That's an old school throwback.
Right?
Who followed us way back when. That's an old school throwback.
So Google Genie has announced their new stuff, and it is interesting, scary, and makes me wonder if this is why we are not seeing a lot of the layoffs.
I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords.
Google Genie lets users create AI outputs resembling video games.
Yeah.
Like literally fully playable video games.
And they're text-based, right?
No. Like they're full graphics and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they look like 2D platformers.
I know what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do this summer.
The tag is like, it's not Sora for video games, but it's a step in that direction.
That's pretty cool.
Sora, when it comes out, you're able to actually do moving, like actual video scenes based on your text input, and it will produce a video.
This is going to be so ridiculous. I've seen the images from Sora, by the way.
Yeah.
You can tell it's AI generated. Like but it's really good. It is
now,
really
if you wanted to do
good.
like a film title set, like a title credit scene, where you don't mind it being AI generated, you can literally generate like scenes that are quote unquote in your movie in the AI form, and with them moving, and use that as your opening title sequence.
See, I like that. This is why I said I think that AI is going to be way more of a help than a hindrance.
Right. People who are afraid of it don't understand how. Like, I can't use it to write anything that doesn't sound like a fifth grader wrote it.
Well, this is the whole thing about it. Even with writing it, or even using it for writing prompt and text prompt and things like that. Like, it's not writing the entire. You can use it to write an entire story. Yeah, but at the end of the day,
it's not going to be if it's not
organic.
If it's not a horror thing, if you're writing like a horror like I do. Yeah. Like, I was like, well, let me see. Give me 1,000-word story based on this idea. Yeah. And it comes, I said, in the whatever of this writer. And it comes out and it's like, Mary Sue, very happy, whatever. Everybody gets away in the end. It's not. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
Listen, give me the same story, but she dies.
Right. It's like you retool, but it still comes out like I write 1,000 times better than that.
We utilize it to enhance what we already do. You and I are an extremely imaginative couple of guys. We are very imaginative. We come up with some wild shit when these cameras aren't rolling and when this audio is not on.
Even when the cameras are rolling.
Even sometimes when they are on. Speaking of, man, it's movie week. It's getting so close, man. I'm so excited. Anyways, but using that imagination, like, we suffer from writer's block. We suffer from inspirational. Well, I mean, sometimes the muse disappears and you're like, I don't know what to do.
There's a couple of stories that I have written.
Off in the AI is extremely helpful because it's like, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. And like, I can't, for some reason, all the junk in my head, I can't sort it out. Help me out. Right. And if you prompt AI the correct way, it'll be like, this, and this. And you're like, oh shit, that's a really good idea. And eventually we would have gotten to that point, and it might be a little lazy, but this is the difference between cranking out 15 books a year or 1 book a year. If I can just fire off my quick ideas, I mean, I've got 5 books in the pipe, or not 5 books, but I have 5 short stories in the pipeline right now.
Right.
But easy peasy, I can sit down and write them because I sat down one day and just had this mess of crazy ideas, and it ended up working out for me.
Right.
So anytime I can actually get some free time to dedicate to myself, and it's just a matter of discipline, I'm fine.
Well, I've used it to help me create a like a synopsis, or like a in the film that could be a treatment. So like I sit down, like, here's the story, here's the stuff, here how's it go. Give me a treatment for this so that I can expound upon for this story. And it kind of gives me the whatever, and then I can go in and go, like, as I copy it in, and I can go, I don't like that beat, I don't like that beat, I don't like that beat, I don't like that beat. And I can create the beats given what I did like, and move and adjust and then write based on that section.
Right.
So, I mean, it's helped when it comes down to, like, I don't know what to write in this story. I know what I'd like to be about, but I don't know whatever. And it gives me a place to start. And when I have the place to start, then it jumps my brain and going, oh, well, I could do this.
It's literally like applying a spark plug to a motor.
Yeah.
Right. All the parts are there. The motor works just fine. Sometimes you just need a spark. And that's what AI can be generated for. That's what AI can be used for, is to generate that spark. And I think that's ultimately... And there's going to be, there will be scammers. There will be people who do not write their own stories, that they're completely AI generated. They'll figure out how to do it, and they're going to make money despite themselves. But hopefully communities will come together and realize that frauds are frauds.
Right.
And that they don't, it'll be even funnier too when some of these guys are at conventions and things. You're like, oh, I'm going to tell me about the book. What's the book about? Well, it's about, this guy, he goes into like the woods, right? And then like finds like this guy, and can I see the book really quick? Can I just see that? Thank you. Yeah. So a guy goes in the woods, and he like, you got to read the blurb on the back,
right?
To
well, no,
tell you what his story is about.
I've written stuff and done all that stuff, and then like for Beyond the Bayou Moon, I was having a hard time coming up with the back blurb, like the Amazon description in the back, the book of the text on the back. So I took like the whole synopsis and I said, give me a back thing for copy and paste. Give me a blurb for this story. And it gave me a nice little blurb and all that stuff. And
they edit it out and kind of tone it down.
And then I said, now give me this that is optimized for Amazon Marketplace, just like an item description. So it changed it and did all that. I optimized for that, but it's still all of my stuff.
Right.
It just made it look more professional while I'm sitting here going, I don't know what, I'm not 100% on what to do.
Like, how do I tell this story without telling the story?
Right. Like, how do I give away or how do I not give away?
How do I generate interest? I get people interested. I'm interested in it, but that's because I know what it's about. Well, no, I mean, and it's, I plugged in the ride, right, which is the probably, there's 2 of them that I'm most fond of at this point. The ride, and I have another story that I'm pretty fond of. I don't have a specific title for it yet, so I don't want to describe what the story is, because I don't want to
right.
do, well, it's a great idea. I haven't written it yet. I'm describing, but the ride, I'm really proud of that one. I like this story, and I fed it into AI just to kind of give it some legs, just to see, because I know what I'm going to write. But I was like, I want to see what AI comes up with. Holy crap! Now this is nothing.
Yeah,
not
like
even close.
I've never gotten it to do it. But like I said, now Google Genie allows you to output get video game stuff, and it's only going to get better. And well, let's look down at the thing. Let's see what they have to say. Sure. This is Mashable.
Mashable, not Mashable.
So it says generative AI developers at Google DeepMind have taken on the world's highest grossing entertainment industry by introducing something called Genie. It's an artificial intelligence system from Google. Researchers can create playable worlds resembling video games from images and text prompts. It is not available to the public just yet. Similar to Sora, Genie's creators call it a world model, but unlike Sora, it's actionable, controllable world model, training over 200,000 hours of publicly available 2D platform footage that exists across the internet. It can take prompts, sketches, and other images and create virtual worlds for users to play in around and creating assets from scratch and generating pixels based on players' actions.
Nice.
So let's see. Here is the some of the video from like Tom Rockashaw. I'm probably getting that horribly wrong. So it says, I am excited to reveal what DeepMind's open, have been up to. Here's the thing. So here's instances of them of it playing and whatnot. So of course these are all based on images and whatnot that you put in there. And these are all of the little playable.
That's cool.
As you can tell, it's still not as polished. In fact, it says there's like nowhere near high quality and polished presentation of Sora. Genie is an impressive generative AI. It also prompts questions about future job security in video games and concerns for game markets such as Steam, already overwhelmed by spam games and asset flips.
I like it.
So
it's what we're gonna do with the the models, the Marshalltown project. So
I've started. What's funny is I started working on some game maker stuff, like using Game Maker and using like creating my assets and importing them in and doing all that stuff. I have a Survivor. What was it? The like Vampire Survivors, one of those types of games, but they're roguelite, yeah. But it's based in Lovecraft, the Lovecraftian things. You have like little Lovecraftian monsters coming in and attacking you, and you gotta
see, that's them. Fun.
Like I got up to 10 levels.
So you made it one hit kill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You made it impossible to actually beat, right?
Well, no.
Oh,
you can get it. It's a lot like Vampire Survivors, but it's a. I'm trying to get the back assets to not tile the weird and give me one big play field and instead of like tiling it out. Those are the little things, but it plays. I have 10 levels in it, so it's like, and then I can just bump it up to 100 levels.
See, like I said, the Marshalltown project with this Google Genie, it's gonna be pretty fun, I think.
So like once we get the Lovecraftian survival game, which I got to figure out a name for. As soon as that gets done, then I will be better at Game Maker, so we can look at doing the 2D platform and including
just call it Craft of Love.
Mythos Survivors.
Cthulhu Rising.
No, I already have that game. It's a box. It's a board game that we literally sit at the house.
I think you just call it Craft of Love because I think it's funny.
Craft of Love.
Craft of Love. Crafty and of love. I don't know, man. I think utilizing this, and there's so many purists out there that think that using AI in any way to enhance your game or to create more with your game or with your idea is a bad thing. And I have a hard time with that. I can't draw for shit.
Right.
But I have it with my imagination. Like there are images that I would love to put together, like worlds in my head that I have built.
Back in my head again, by the way.
But there are worlds that I would love to create with my hands. Now, as far as landscape pictures are concerned, like I actually portrait style landscaping, like I'm actually pretty good at that. Like I can sit and I can draw all of those things. But when it comes to people, there's a scientific term for that, by the way. I can't draw faces. Well, which is bizarre because I'll never forget. When it comes to faces, I'm photographic memory with faces.
But there's a thing that I don't know if there's a term for not being able to draw faces, but there's a term for not being able to recognize faces.
Yes. But there's one for drawing faces too. Like I can draw bodies. I can draw. I'm not great at hands. But
so what you're saying is like
design.
you can draw like this person, but the face would be like all shrunk down. And
yeah, it's like, and it's like it's not proportionate, and I don't understand why. It's like my brain does not recognize golden ratio, and I can't do it. And judging some of my exes, that's pretty clearly true. On that note.
Yes, on that note. So let us know in the comments what you think about AI coming into the game creating thing.
Specifically generative AI, because it's a different thing. Generative AI is completely different.
What you think of like how you think that's going to affect stuff like Steam or any of the platforms.
We're
or
about
whatnot.
to see an indie market for video games explode. That's what's about to happen.
And do you think it's going to be like quality wise? You're just going to see a dump in it, or maybe we're just going to get the next Vampire Rising or V Rising or the next whatever
Craft of Love.
out of this thing. Let us know in the comments what you have to say.
Yes.
And I am Topher.
I'm Crazy Chris.
And we will see you guys in the next video.
Don't be a booty.